Hello, 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 or wah, as I believe it is in the York vernacular. So, today we have Ghazghkull, the main man himself, also Makari. Don't forget about Makari. So the first thing to note about this is the sprue size. This is like two large sprues. You can see there. For comparison, that is Ragnar Blackmane's sprue. So you can see with Gaz you're getting 4 times the amount of plastic. So I expect that to be reflected in the eventual price when it's released. One other thing to note, just push that out of the way. That is a standard 40mm base. And that is Ghazghkull's base, which is an 80mm base. He is going to be a beast. I mean, literally, he is going to be the beast. It's going to be so cool. But we'll deal with that when we've built them all up. So I want to ask you guys a question. When I do these builds or whatever, what kind of stuff do you want to see? What I do, if this is the first one you've seen, what I like to do is go over the sprue, see if there's anything interesting on it. Usually there's not too much. Then I like to go over the build instructions, because I like to look for options, you know, where you could potentially magnetize something. Then I go away, I build it, I come back, and I talk about what it was like to build. You know, 'cause some of the models are trickier to build than others, so, and any little gotchas I find, just to give you guys a heads up. You know, if you're new to the hobby and you haven't built that many models before, then it might help some people. But if there's anything else you guys would like to say, let me know in the comments. So without further warbling on by me, we're going to take a quick look at the build instructions. There's nothing too fancy in this so far, but the main thing is, I've reflected these before. You have this option here, which is 2 different poses. So you can put him on the base one of 2 ways, and it affects the way. So he's either leaning towards his gun, or he is leaning towards his claw. If he's leaning towards the claw, you've got these little smoke tendrils coming out of the gun. If he's leaning towards the gun, you've got these spent shell casings shooting out the side. Both really nice. I think I'm going to go for this one. They look identically easy to build. I don't think there are any other options for this kit, which I don't mind for an individual model. So yeah, that's about it. And there's obviously the Makari build instructions, which are 1, 2, 3, 4 parts and a 25mm base. So I'm going to go bring the camera down and we'll go in for a close-up of the sprue. I really do need to work out a better way to get lighting on these, but oh well. So the little shell casings are lovely and detailed, and I like the banner top. There's one of the little smoke tendrils, I think. Big bone. Here's a big bone chunky fella. So now the main bit in this side of the sprue is the backpack, obviously, which is huge, and it's got these crazy exhausts with the little flappy dealy. There's a bit of Makari. Yeah, and part of the power claw. It's going to be a big model. I mean, this is going to be bigger than a normal dreadnought. Probably not as big as a Redemptor, but yeah. So now we can slide that one over, and we can have a look. That is obviously the gun arm, and I think that's part of the power claw arm. I mean, this looks like a really simple kit just because there aren't that many parts. There's nothing, well, there are lots of parts, but there's none of those little small fiddly ones that I always have this tendency to drop. So you can see the base there. You can glue it like that or like that, I think it is. So that is a very nice touch, having the multiple ways to do it in the base, and the way it blends in. You know, you wouldn't notice that there was 2 parts where you're supposed to, oh, is that a lieutenant? That could be a lieutenant head. Don't know about that, but I don't know. So this is looking good. So I'm going to take this away and build it. I mean, I don't know if that sprue look was necessary, but I'm going to take this away, I'm going to build it, and I'm going to come back. This is an easy enough model to build. I had a bit of trouble with the gun arm, getting it. It's not like a clean click, you know what I mean, where you get a couple of components and they fit together, and there's really only one way they fit together, where it sort of you can almost feel it hitting the indent and locking, and you can't turn it anymore. That gun arm, it felt like it needed like a key almost, so you could put it in and know you've got it lined up properly. I had to refer to the box art back and forth a couple of times just to make sure I was happy enough that it was in the right place, and it has to be in the right place because of that cable. Same with the other arm, but that arm goes in, and it goes in only one way. That one was really good. And as I've said, the shoulder pads, I probably should have left them off, but they're tricky enough to get on anyway, because they sort of have to duck them underneath the backpack kind of thing. But not that big a deal. Not that big a deal, as long as you're careful with the arm. And then the face, I had a bit of trouble getting it on, because it sort of implied you should glue it at the bottom, but you need to glue it at the top. It's weird. But yeah, just glue the head up right up the top, and then the jaw armor sort of goes underneath, because it leaves a big gap. Basically, if you don't have the jaw armor, there's a big gap there, which seems weird. But yeah, crazy cool model, really good. Now he's got this little handle crankshaft on his backpack. That's going to get broken off for me. I really just can't see how that's not. But other than that, nothing really particularly fragile in this model, because I am forever breaking off bits like the Vanguard Marines, their little aerials. I've lost like 3 of them. I'm shockingly rough with stuff. My own fault, like, you know, nobody to blame but myself. But you can see here with Ghazghkull that he is a lovely beefy model. Now, I probably shouldn't have glued the shoulder pads on, because I'm not going to be able to get underneath them to paint anything. So that's going to be a bit tricky, but obviously that's where I'm going to start, is painting the inner parts of the model, because otherwise you're going to be painting the outer parts twice. You know, because if you try to paint the outer parts first and then go over the inner parts, and then you'll mess up the outer. But anyway, you know what I mean. I haven't fully cleaned this model. I clean it as I build them, but I haven't fully cleaned this one. But I don't think there's much else to do with it. I think it's pretty much clean. There's obviously going to be a few bits I've missed, but for now it's good enough. So the main interesting thing about this model is that if I just let him come around a little second and then switch off the turntable, you can see he's sitting on his base. This is with him looking this way towards the claw. This is the right pose, but you can build his face looking the other way. And if I just turn that around slightly, he can sit like that. So you can pose him both ways. Now there's another head choice which has him looking this way towards this gun, and then there are shell casings coming out of the gun. It's a very nice way to do it. I do like having the choice, because you've got the shooty one and the power claw one, and I like the emphasis on the power claw just because of the size of it. I mean, we're going to have a look at the size difference here. We're going to pop in Ragnar. Bearing in mind that Ragnar is leaping off a bit of concrete, you can really see the size difference. It really does come across that Ragnar is a big Space Marine, but Gaz is just crazy big. This is the model Gaz needed, really did. And then obviously we can't forget the Gretchen himself. It's Makari. Now I've only blue tacked him on this stand. He is going very side heavy, so you probably want to move him a little bit over on the base, because, you know, or you can glue a coin under the base. That's always a good way to help stabilize the 25mm bases. I think it was a 1p coin I used. Anyway, so Makari is a fun little model too. But the beast, the man himself, or the orc himself, as you can see, he's not glued onto his base, because I'll do that after painting. Now, I don't know when they're going to be releasing this model separately. I'm hoping that with 9th edition being announced there, shows you how long I've been at this, with 9th edition being announced, hopefully they'll do new orc boys. I think the orcs need a few new infantry models, so hopefully they'll do orcs as one of the first armies, because they kind of do need Eldar too. In fact, pretty much Tau. Yeah, Tau would be the only Xenos army that are okay for models, I think. I mean, obviously, as a Tau player as well, I would like new models, but it seems that the Eldar could do with some new models. Orcs could do with some new models. Necrons are getting their new models. So as far as the Xenos is concerned, you know, I don't know about Tyranids. I don't know anything about the Tyranid army, so I couldn't really say one way or the other, but certainly the other ones do. If you've made it this far, thanks very much for watching. There's another couple of videos there you can click on. You can click on the subscribe button if you want to. Like the video if you want to. Stick a comment down if you've anything to say. And in the meantime, happy wargaming. And I'll see you next time.